flipping through the newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news? Keeping up to date with important news is not only time-consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. Doubt-clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Neuralink aims to implant blindside chip in first human by 2025. Indian Supreme Court was first to shift from human-centric to eco-centric approach in international jurisprudence. Union Cabinet approved inclusion of Kosi-Mechi intra-state link project of Bihar under PMKSY AIBP. CBDT signed the highest number of advanced pricing agreements in a financial year. 2025 marks 90 years of RBI's first monetary policy. 50th anniversary of Biological Weapons Convention commemorated. We begin with Neuralink, the brain chip company founded by Elon Musk, which is aiming to implant its blindside chip in a human for the first time by 2025. The device had earlier been designated as a breakthrough by the US Food and Drug Administration or FDA, signaling its potential in the field of neurotechnology. So what exactly is blindsight? Blindsight is a brain-computer interface or BCI implant designed to restore vision. Unlike conventional treatments, it bypasses the retina and directly stimulates the visual cortex, the region of the cerebral cortex responsible for processing visual data relayed from the retinas. The implant consists of a microelectrode array embedded in the visual cortex, which is capable of stimulating neurons or nerve cells. But how does brain-computer interface technology work? BCI is a system that processes brain activity and sends signal to external software, allowing users to control devices using their thoughts. Its applications span multiple fields. In healthcare, BCI is used for diagnosing brain disorders and assisting physically challenged individuals. When it comes to communication and control, it plays a role in thought decoding, smart device operation, and environmental auto-adjustment systems. The technology is also being explored in commercial sectors, including transportation and advertising. Additionally, it has potential in gaming, security authentication, neurofeedback, and even cognitive enhancement. However, with innovation come challenges. One of the key hurdles is usability, as user acceptance of BCI technology remains limited. Safety concerns are also significant, with risks such as tissue damage, seizures, and cognitive impairment, alongside long-term effects that are not yet fully understood. Ethical concerns, particularly regarding informed consent, further add to the debate surrounding the technology. With Neuralink now moving towards human trials, the future of brain-computer interfaces is becoming increasingly real. Moving on, the Indian Supreme Court has been a pioneer in shifting from a human-centric to an eco-centric approach in international jurisprudence. Through landmark rulings, the SC has upheld the intrinsic value of nature beyond human utility, setting a precedent in environmental law. To achieve this, the Supreme Court has exercised its powers under various constitutional provisions, including Article 32, which deals with constitutional remedies, and Article 142, which empowers the court to pass any order necessary to ensure complete justice. So, what exactly is the eco-centric approach? Unlike the human-centric model, which prioritizes human needs, the eco-centric approach places the well-being of the entire ecosystem at the forefront. It views nature as valuable in itself, not just as a resource for human exploitation. This perspective also gained global recognition during the deep ecology movement led by Arne Nice, which emphasized a fundamental shift in how humans interact with nature, recognizing its inherent value rather than viewing it solely for human benefit. Now, let's look at some key Supreme Court judgments that paved the way for this approach. First, in T.N. Godavarman Tirumalpad versus Union of India and others, 1996, the SC expanded the definition of forest to include all green expanses, regardless of their classification, ownership, or legal status, ensuring broader protection. Then, in Centre for Environmental Law WWF 1 versus Union of India and others, 1998, SC directed the government to strengthen conservation efforts and strictly enforce the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Another significant ruling came in N.R. Nair versus Union of India 2000, where the court upheld that animals are conscient beings with the right to live with dignity, free from cruelty. Taking this further, in Animal Welfare Board of India versus A. Nagaraja 2014, the SC reinforced the eco-centric approach by prioritizing animal rights over human traditions, particularly in the case of Jallikattu. These judgments have collectively contributed to making India a global leader in eco-centric jurisprudence. As environmental concerns continue to grow, the Supreme Court's role in shaping policies that protect nature remains more crucial than ever. In a significant development, the Union Cabinet has approved the inclusion of the Kosi-Mechi intra-state link project of Bihar under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Accelerated Irrigation Benefits Program, also known as PMKSY AIBP. This ambitious project is set to be completed by 2029 and will significantly aid irrigation and flood management in Bihar. So what exactly does this project involve? The Kosi-Mechi intrastate link project aims to divert part of the surplus water from the Kosi River to the Mahananda Basin in Bihar by linking it to the Mechi River. This will be achieved through the remodeling and extension of the existing Eastern Kosi Main Canal, or EKMC. The EKMC is part of the Kosi project, which was established in 1954 as a joint initiative between India and Nepal to address the problem of the shifting course of the Kosi River. Now, let's take a moment to understand the broader framework of PMKSY. Launched in 2015-16, the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is an umbrella scheme with the primary objective of improving physical access to water for farming. It also focuses on expanding the area of cultivable land under irrigation, enhancing water use efficiency on farms, and promoting sustainable water conservation practices. The PMKSY has two major components: the Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program AIBP and Har Khet Ko Pani HKKP, both implemented by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. In addition, Watershed Development or WD is managed by the Ministry of Rural Development. The AIBP, which was originally launched in 1996-97 and merged with PMKSY in 2015-16, provides central assistance to major and medium irrigation projects under the Long-Term Irrigation Fund, supported by borrowings from NABARD. Finally, let's delve into the geographical significance of the Kosi and Mechi rivers. The Kosi River is a transboundary river that originates from Tibet, flows through Nepal's Himalayan region, and continues through Bihar before merging with the Ganga. The Kosi River is fed by major tributaries including the San Kosi, Arun Kosi, and Tamur Kosi. On the other hand, the Mechi River, a perennial river, flows to the east of the Kosi River and is a tributary of the Mahananda River. With the Cabinet's approval, the Kosi-Mechi intrastate link project is set to be a game changer for Bihar, ensuring better water management and improved agricultural practices in the state. Now, we bring you a significant update from the financial sector. The Central Board of Direct Taxes, or CBDT, has achieved a record milestone in the financial year 2024-25 by signing the highest number of advanced pricing agreements, or APAs, in a single year. In this financial year, CBDT has finalized a total of 174 APAs, surpassing the previous record of 125 APAs in 2023-24. So, what exactly is an advanced pricing agreement? Let's break it down. An APA is a formal agreement between the tax authority, CBDT, and a taxpayer. Its main purpose is to provide certainty in the area of transfer pricing by specifying the pricing methods and determining the arm's length price for international transactions. Now, you may wonder, what is the duration of such agreements? Well, an APA can be valid for a maximum period of 5 years. Interestingly, there is no minimum time period specified. APAs are classified into 3 types. A unilateral APA involves only the taxpayer and the tax authority of one country. A bilateral APA includes not only the taxpayer and the tax authority of the country, but also an associated enterprise, or AE, of the taxpayer in another country. A multilateral APA takes it a step further, involving the taxpayer, 2 or more AEs in different foreign countries, and their respective tax authorities. To fully understand APAs, we need to look at 2 important concepts. First, transfer pricing. This refers to the price at which goods and services are exchanged between companies that are under common ownership or control. Second, the arm's length principle of pricing. This principle states that the price set in a transaction between 2 related entities should be the same as it would be between 2 unrelated parties in a comparable transaction. Now, why are APAs important? There are several reasons. They help reduce the risk of double taxation. They lower compliance costs by eliminating the risk of transfer pricing audits and related uncertainties. Most importantly, they enhance the ease of doing business, especially for multinational enterprises. With this record-breaking achievement, CBDT continues to strengthen India's tax administration and provide much-needed certainty to businesses engaged in international transactions. Moving on, the year 2025 marks 90 years since the Reserve Bank of India, or RBI, announced its first monetary policy. Established in 1935, RBI laid the foundation for monetary regulation by fixing the bank rate and the cash reserve ratio. But what exactly is monetary policy and why is it important? Monetary policy refers to the process through which the central bank manages the supply of money in the economy. It plays a crucial role in ensuring price stability, economic growth, and financial stability. To achieve these objectives, RBI employs different instruments of monetary policy. Broadly, these are classified into quantitative and qualitative tools. Quantitative tools include the repo rate, reverse repo rate, statutory liquidity ratio, and marginal standing facility. On the other hand, qualitative tools include measures like moral suasion and direct action. Monetary policy can also be categorized into 2 types. The first is contractionary monetary policy, also known as tight monetary policy, which increases interest rates and limits the money supply to curb inflation. The second is expansionary monetary policy, which decreases interest rates and increases the money supply, encouraging borrowings and consumer spending. Over the years, the monetary policy framework in India has evolved. Before 2016, the RBI governor was solely responsible for formulating the monetary policy. However, the Finance Act of 2016 brought a major change. It amended the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 to introduce a statutory and institutionalized framework for the Monetary Policy Committee, or MPC. This also led to the formal adoption of Flexible Inflation Targeting, or FIT. Now, what is the MPC? It is a 6-member committee responsible for setting the policy interest rate. 3 of its members are from the RBI, while the remaining 3 are appointed by the central government. The RBI governor serves as the ex officio chairperson of the committee. Each member has 1 vote, and in the event of a tie, the governor casts the deciding vote. As RBI completes 90 years of its first monetary policy, it continues to play a vital role in shaping India's economic landscape. Moving ahead, the Biological Weapons Convention, or BWC, completes 50 years, marking an important milestone in global disarmament efforts. This landmark treaty, the first multilateral disarmament agreement to ban an entire category of weapons of mass destruction, was opened for signature in April 1972 and came into force on March 26, 1975. So what exactly is a BWC? Well, its full name is quite a mouthful: the Convention on the Prohibition of the Development, Production and Stockpiling of Bacteriological or Biological and Toxic Weapons and on their Destruction. In simple terms, it prohibits countries from developing or possessing biological and toxin weapons. But what are biological and toxin weapons? These include microorganisms such as viruses, bacteria or fungi, as well as toxic substances produced by living organisms that are deliberately released to cause disease and death. Examples include anthrax, botulinum toxin, and plague. The consequences of using such weapons can be severe, ranging from food shortages and environmental catastrophes to economic devastation, widespread illness, and public fear. Now, let's take a look at how this treaty came into existence. The BWC was negotiated by the Conference of the Committee on Disarmament in Geneva, Switzerland. It goes a step further than the 1925 Geneva Protocol, which only prohibited the use of biological weapons by banning their development, production, acquisition, transfer, and stockpiling. Where does the world stand today in terms of participation? The convention enjoys near universal support, with 188 states parties and 4 signatory states: Egypt, Haiti, Somalia, and Syria. And yes, India is also a member of the BWC. While the BWC focuses on biological weapons, other international agreements address different categories of WMDs. For nuclear weapons, we have the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons or NPT, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons or TPNW, and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty or CTBT. In the case of missiles, agreements like the Hague Code of Conduct or HCOC and the Missile Technology Control Regime or MTCR play a key role. And when it comes to chemical weapons, the Chemical Weapons Convention or CWC stands as a major international framework. With global security concerns evolving, treaties like the BWC remain as relevant as today as they were 50 years ago. The world continues to recognize the need for vigilance and cooperation in preventing the misuse of biological sciences for destructive purposes. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The 4th edition of Exercise Tiger Triumph has commenced at Visakhapatnam coast. It is a bilateral tri-service India-US humanitarian assistance and disaster relief exercise. It aims at developing interoperability for conducting HADR operations and for the formulation of standard operating procedures to establish a combined coordination center. Central Board of Direct Taxes notifies amendments in Income Tax Rules 1962 to expand the scope of safe harbor rules. Scope of safe harbor rules has been expanded by increasing threshold for availing safe harbor from Rs 200 crore to Rs 300 crore. And including lithium-ion batteries for use in electric or hybrid electric vehicles in definition of core auto components. About 500 primary urban cooperative banks under the RBI Supervisory Action Framework will shift to the Prompt Corrective Action Framework from April 1, 2025. RBI had introduced a PCA framework for scheduled commercial banks in 2002 and for UCB in July 2024. Niti Aayog released the 2nd edition of Trade Watch Quarterly. The report offers a comprehensive analysis of India's trade position on a quarterly basis. According to the report, USA, UAE and the Netherlands continue to be India's leading export markets, accounting for 33% of total exports. The 2nd WHO Global Conference on Air Pollution and Health was held in Cartagena, Colombia. The conference was co-organized by WHO, Colombia, and other UN agencies like UNEP, WMO, and others. The objectives of the conference were to accelerate action for clean air, clean energy access, and climate change mitigation. Japan warned of potential megaquake in the Nankai Trough. Megaquake or megathrust earthquake is an earthquake of exceptional destructive power, usually with a magnitude of 8 or greater. Nankai Trough is a subduction zone between 2 tectonic plates. the Philippine Sea Plate subducting under the Eurasian Plate in the Pacific Ocean. ASEAN Food Security Information System appreciates ISRO and other space agencies for successful implementation of the Safe AgroMed project. AFSIS is a project led by Thailand to provide the reliable information on food security. Buddhist monks are protesting at the Mahabodhi Mahavihara or Bodh Gaya temple in Bihar to repeal the Bodh Gaya Temple Act 1949. Bodh Gaya temple is one of the 4 holy sites related to the life of the Lord Buddha and particularly to the attainment of enlightenment. Genova Biopharmaceuticals is developing a pioneering self-amplifying mRNA saRNA vaccine candidate against the Nipah virus as part of expanded funding from the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. US physicists demonstrated a novel method to detect radioactive materials from a distance using carbon dioxide lasers. At the core of the new technique is a phenomenon called avalanche breakdown. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description.